To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Well, this feels familiar. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and welcome to the 5th video of today. It's been a long time since I've done this. Feels good. Anyways. Now, whenever we last left off, Midoriya, he left a bit of a message for Bakugo. And, well, let's just say that she responds. Midoriya gave her a time and a place to meet. And she knows it was him, since he did sign his initials. Now, with that being said, she does arrive later on into the night, sneaking out of her room. As she does at least try and stick to the rooftops without using her quirk. It's a bit more difficult than she wants to admit, but she is at least physically strong enough to make some jumps. Other ones she has to be very careful. Now, eventually she does meet up with them, and see them both. Midoriya, who's standing on the rooftop with his hoodie on, covering his hair and his face, along with Momo. She's actually very well hidden. In fact, she's wearing all black, and you couldn't really see her unless she said something. Especially because she's also wearing her own mask. Now, whenever she does run up to Midoriya, she actually does begin to somewhat talk to him. Try to get information, and ask him questions. Now, Midoriya just tells her that he can answer her later, but he does want to know something. They need her help. Her getting a bit mad and angry, saying exactly why would she help him? He almost killed All Might yesterday. Actually, not even yesterday. A few hours ago, really. So tell me again, why should I help you? Well, why are you here? Her not saying a single word. Midoriya going on to say that if he wanted to kill All Might, he would have done it. In fact, as his Kagune is released, and she watches as it turns into the centipede. And these things, well, they're sharper than she thought. Watching as Midoriya slides them across the wall behind him. Each one of them creating a slice upwards, before it disappears. Midoriya then stepping directly in front of her, telling her that she came here because she knows him. She thinks that she can still get through to him. She's partially right. Then again, the other guy keeps telling me different. Other guy? The other one rattling around in my head. Anytime I get too intense, he takes over. So, you probably were talking to him. What did I say exactly? Not really anything. You just called me by my actual name. Oh, sorry. Don't worry about it. Anyways, Momo's stepping forwards, saying that if she's really gonna help them, then they need to work fast. They only have about a week. A week for what? Well, long story short, we need to break into a CCG headquarters. Are you insane? Yes. Didn't think that would be the answer to that question. Anyways, why do you need me? Can't you just go yourself? We could, but we would trigger quite a lot of the alarms. and have to kill our way out. So, we need a human who has natural levels of our C cells, at least a low level of them. So, whenever you walk through it, you should not trigger it. You can get us the files that we need. So, you're using me as a scapegoat? No. Actually, I won't turn you in. In fact, I did say I would keep your secrets, and I meant it. Midoriya holding out his hand, saying that she's his only connection to his other life. He liked it. In fact, he does miss it sometimes. But for right now, what he's doing is trying to create a world where they can live peacefully. You know I've always wanted to be a hero. I always talked about going to UA. I saved your life. I hunt down other ghouls. I kill bad people, so they can't do bad things anymore. In fact, the only innocent person I have ever killed, and I mean ever, were possibly the humans in the Ayama mansion. And that bastard deserved everything he got. Besides, I do feel remorseful about that sometimes. Sometimes? Her backing up. Momo going on to say that whatever is going on with him, well, clearly it's something mentally. Then again, being a ghoul, you are always fucked up in the head one way or another. So, will you help us? Her just bringing her hands up. And thinking for a second. A world where they can live peacefully. Besides, she can spend some time with her old friend and try and talk with him. She has 2 weeks before the sports festival, so this is going to be perfect. Now, with that being said, she does accompany them, doing some light reconnaissance on the headquarters, just seeing who goes in and who goes out. This being the only thing they really need to know, as they do mark down how many people go in at a certain amount of time, and who comes out of the building, and exactly what the men look like, along with the woman. Now, whenever they do find someone close enough to Bakugo's features, I guess you could say, they do actually mark them down, and track the person home, before heading to the Yaoyorozu Manor, and getting properly fitted for some disguises. Now, with that being said, they are being fitted for outfits. And Bakugo, she's not really used to doing something like this. Especially since she's being fitted for a dress. And Momo did at least offer one to her, thinking that it might fit her. Her telling her just to go to hell. To which she basically just told the people to at least make her dress somewhat nice. Now, with that being said, Midoriya gets fitted for a suit, so that they can at least blend in a bit better. As after everyone's done, you do have Momo. She used her own abilities, makeup, and manipulating some of her RC cells in her face to at least change her appearance slightly. As for Bakugo, she got something similar. I want to say that she got a bit more of a, well, black version of this dress, or just something else. I really could not find any other pictures. But anyways, now, with that being said, Midoriya does get something else. A suit. I want to say this one, because I actually think these suits are really nice, and I want one myself. Anyways, now, After that's all said and done, Midoriya does come out. Seeing these two, the process took about an hour at night, relatively getting some things fitted for them, and then them having to come back the next day, early in the morning. So it took about a couple of hours, completely in total. As, well, Bakugo, she's trying to get used to doing this, let alone being dressed like this now. Yeah, not something she's very used to, along with Midoriya. Whenever he does walk out, both of them do stare at him, and see him a bit. Momo then going on to say that if they're going to go out with him, then he does need to change it up a bit. Oh, right. Midoriya taking a deep breath in before his hair starts to change. Bakugo completely in shock, watching as Midoriya's hair goes from, well, white turning to green. Midoriya bringing his hand up and at least looking at a strand of it, saying that it's not really his color, but hey, does this work? Both of them just staring at him, not saying a word. Now, Katsuki does say that it looks fine, while looking away, while Momo says that the color might actually suit him a bit better. Besides, dark eyes on green? Hey, looks fine to her. Now, Momo actually does walk over and get a bit of a closer look at Midoriya. Bring her hand up to his face and just saying that it actually does suit him a bit better. Doesn't she agree? Looking over at Bakugo, who is actually a bit more visibly angry. Now, after that does happen, she does say that she also does need to get fitted for something else, and to come along with her. Before she does at least tell Midoriya that he needs to go talk to her father really quick. Tell him that he'll need a firearm. He'll hand you one. If we get caught using our Kagenes, then it's going to be clear this is a Ghoul operation, and that there's a human mingling among one of us. So if we do get caught, hey, it won't really be a Ghoul, or seen as a Ghoul attack. It'll be seen as some random people trying to break into the CCG. Got it. Midoriya walking away, before Momo does at least turn with a bit of a smirk on her face, asking her if she really does have a crush on that guy. Now, Katsuki, she sort of just freezes, staring directly at Momo, saying that she does not need to know about that. Besides, what does she care? Oh, I care quite much actually. He is very interesting. In fact, he's also very unique, even for a ghoul. Really? I wouldn't know. Oh, of course you wouldn't. You aren't one of us. Besides, even if you were, he'd still pick me. What was that? Her getting a bit angry, saying weren't they supposed to go somewhere? Oh, alright. Her taking her away, and getting her, equipped with a suit. The suit that Midoriya uses for his stealth operations. Now, with that being said, Midoriya and them leave later on into the night, as this is at least day 3. And they do begin the operation. The two walking down the street with Midoriya. As soon as they turn the corner for the CCG headquarters, Midoriya immediately wraps his hands around both of these two, around both of their waist, before telling them to play along. Now, Momo isn't really surprised by the attitude change. However, Bakugo is. Immediately somewhat just, freezing up, before at least trying not to look angry. And someone just wrapping her hand around Midoriya. Momo doing the same. As the two begin to at least laugh and have a bit of fun together. Or at least these three. Two of them are having internal screaming. Now, with that being said, whenever they do walk past the guys for the CCG, Katsuki, she accidentally bumps into one of them. Before at least Midoriya immediately just bringing his hands out from both of their sides. And turning around to see this man, who does get a bit pissed off, telling the girl to watch where she's going. Midoriya telling the man that he should calm down. It wasn't her fault. Now, the man does begin to get a bit more pissed off. Momo trying to help defuse the situation. Well, Katsuki, she is at least standing there. The man trying to throw a punch at Midoriya as Midoriya actually does dodge it, and at least move away from the man. Before at least just telling the man that he really doesn't want to fight him. The man getting more and more pissed off. The other two just saying that they, don't really care. Besides, you really shouldn't have pissed him off. He didn't have a very good night tonight. He got stuck doing a fuck ton of paperwork for something that happened at the USJ. Oh, very sorry about that. Exactly what did happen there? Not very much, but I suggest you pay attention to what's going on. Midoriya turning back to the fight, and the man trying to throw more punches. Midoriya actually using hand-to-hand combat for once, blocking the man's punches and blows as the man does try and fight Midoriya. Midoriya just blocking everything, along with actually keeping his eye on the door behind him. They're directly in front of the CCG headquarters, as Midoriya actually just keeps blocking the man's punches, before bringing his hand back and bringing it up to the man's face, directly in front of his eyes, stopping it short saying that that hit would have actually knocked him on his ass. The man being pissed off, before just walking away saying that he's not dealing with this shit, and that someone isn't buying because he bought the last few rounds this week. Now, with that being said, the two are actually a bit more surprised by that. Midoriya's reaction time was faster than Bakugo's actually ever seen. And Midoriya got the code while the guy from the CCG was putting it in. He walked past, not really caring about what was going on, only knowing that it wasn't a ghoul fight. The guy also did have a fire attitude, so he didn't really care. Now, the two do walk away. Midoriya wrapping his hands around both of them again and walking down the street. Now, one of these detectives, though, is a bit more curious about exactly what that boy is. Is he actually a human? He did seem a bit familiar, along with the way he moved, as he does begin to follow them. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does hear the man, his footsteps, along with Momo. As soon as the three do round the corner, Midoriya has a bit of an idea, along with Momo. As soon as they round the corner, Momo immediately grabs Midoriya by his face, and begins to at least start kissing him. Well, Katsuki, she just looks a bit more surprised, and frozen up about the situation. The man immediately rounding the corner and seeing what's going on, as Midoriya currently is making out with one chick while he does have another one wrapped around in his arm. The dude is clearly a player, Well, shit. He thought it was a bit more suspicious, but hey, the guy really is just out for a night on the town. Can't blame him. As he just says, sorry for the interruption. He thought for a second that they were... Oh, no worries, officer. Or detective, right? You are, well, a ghoul hunter, correct? Yeah. Besides, the job is a bit stressful. Oh, I'm pretty sure it might be. You have to hunt down those monsters and the savages, right? Those things that try to be human? Yep. It's not always easy. In fact, I actually did have a friend who was ripped apart today. We're having drinks honoring him, and actually his squad. Oh, I'm so sorry. What was his name? The man giving the name. Midoriya staying a bit more composed about hearing the name of one man that he murdered. Now, the man actually does say that he kinda did need to at least say it out loud. So, again, sorry for the disturbance. I really do need to be going. Alright, have a good night, officer. Or detective again, sorry. As the man does take off running. Leaving. Well, Katsuki, she's a bit more surprised at how calm Midoriya was. As soon as the man does get down the street and turn the corner, he immediately drops the facade, getting a bit more nervous and actually a bit more unstable. His hands actually beginning to move around a bit, and his fingers actually going a bit more crazy in his hand. Now, Momo does actually turn to Katsuki, staring at her, with a bit of a smirk on her face. However, she is at least blushing. Now, with that being said, the next day, they are at least trying to talk about the plan. Midoriya is going to be watching the man as soon as he leaves. Then, what's going to happen is he's going to knock him out by the time he rounds the corner. Baku is going to change into his outfit, walk back in and say that he forgot something, and begin to make his way throughout the facility. Or, well, her way. Now, the man does leave. As soon as he rounds the corner, they put the plan into action. Bakugo quickly getting changed, and, well, very hesitant. As Midoriya basically just tells her that she will do perfectly fine, and to not be nervous. Remember what All Might used to say. Or, well, what was it? Red Crimson, right? Someone like that. Don't really remember. You shouldn't really freeze up. A hero will react and jump into action to save anyone. This is going to save a lot of lives. Do you trust me? Well, yes, I do. And I hate that you're right. As she does walk forwards. Walking into the building with the briefcase. And the person at the front desk looking up for a split second before just looking back down at their newspaper. And begin to fill in the rest of the crossword puzzle. Now, with that being said, she does begin to make her way to the computers. And start by plugging in a USB. Before bringing up her phone and texting exactly what she needs to do. Beginning to talk with some other people. Now, this is whenever the person at the manor does begin to inform her that she needs to be doing this and this and this. Getting these transfer logs, since any detective does have access to them. It was a very large operation. Now, she does actually see the logs pop up, as she immediately ejects the USB from the computer, and quickly makes her way out, waving the person off as they just tell him goodnight, in a very deep voice, and walk out of the building. Now, as soon as that does happen, they begin to leave. Her giving the man back his outfit, and Midoriya, well, basically taking him home and putting him in bed, getting half a beer from his fridge and pouring it out. Doing this with 3.5 of them, putting it by the bed. The man would probably think that he passed out drunk. And when he wakes up, it would explain the pain in his head and the back of his neck. He thinks he might have just slept wrong. Now, with that being said, they have all the data, and the next thing they need to do is actually just start the raid. Now, whenever they do get back to the manor, it is actually a bit more fun and exciting. Katsuki had a bit more fun than she did in the last 3 days than she has in a while. Along with that, she is actually a bit jealous of Momo, who actually made a move on Midoriya. Midoriya slipping his hair back to its white color, before going on to say that that was actually a bit interesting. So, I guess we're done. What? Yep. Thanks for the help. And, well, we won't forget this. So, I guess this is goodbye for now then, Bakugo. Now, Midoriya does actually hold out his hands to her, offering her a bit of a hug, as his hands do actually at least twitch a bit nervously. Her coming in for it, and giving Midoriya a hug, before she does actually back away. Midoriya tensed up, and he was very nervous. Is he like this all the time now? Well, she can't blame him. Now, she does actually tell Midoriya that he did a very good thing. He doesn't have to kill all the time. Besides, the next mission we go on, as she looks at Momo, saying that she calls dibs on what she did. Huh? Next one? Yeah, you guys are probably going to need me for a bit more. I kind of know this already. Plus, you'll probably use this as blackmail anyway. What? I don't blackmail people. Sure you don't. Her then turning to Midoriya, saying that, and by the way, the next time, she does have at least one rule. No tongue. I had to slip that in there somewhere, and I couldn't find a good place during the video. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. That joke had to be said. Besides, it is very, very early in the morning for me right now. Anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.